What's up, friends? This is Move with Moné. I'm Simoné, and my goal is to set up a space where it feels so good to move and in your own way. Today we have a heart opener. This will be a 30-minute slow vinyasa class, so we will be moving with the breath, but we won't be moving too quickly. This is all about feeling good and opening the heart up. We're gonna get into some back bends, shoulder openers, just let this whole area be nice and loose. We want to have our mat, of course. We will have yoga blocks. If you don't have them, it's all good. We can always use a stack of books or pillows or anything really that just brings the floor a little closer to you. So hopefully you're wearing something that feels good, and we will get started in a child's pose. So come on down. We have a few options here. You can take that extended child's pose, big toes touching, knees out wide, arms out in front. If child's pose is not the most comfortable pose in your body, feel free to take your block or prop, place it underneath your head, and then that gives you just a little bit of a higher position. You're also welcome to take those blocks and take a seat. So you can stack them any particular way, and then have the sit bones kind of resting on them. So there's child's pose out there for everybody. Once you are in there, settle down, forehead down, and come into your breath. Allow the hips to fall back towards the heels. Become aware of the breath in the body. You don't have to necessarily do anything to change it. We're just observing. Where do you feel the breath the strongest in your body? Notice if the thoughts are starting to swirl around now that we stayed still. And that's all good. Thoughts come in, thoughts come out, but let's try not to get attached to them in this moment. We don't always have a solid 30 minutes to focus on ourselves and our well-being. So anytime a thought comes in, maybe we say, thinking, or I'm thinking, just to become aware. Good, wherever you are in your breath, empty out your lungs, exhale everything out. Take a big, deep breath in through the nose, fill up the belly. And exhale out through the mouth. Good. Notice how that made you feel. And continue to take breaths like that as deep and full as you can in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth. Allowing the rib cage to expand out side to side, the belly to take up space. Maybe we take this moment to set a little intention for this practice, something pertaining to the heart. A little bit more love, or a little bit more space, a little bit more openness, whatever the case may be. One more breath to solidify that intention. And we'll start to move. Start to crawl those fingertips all the way up to the top of the mat, so much so that the elbows lift up, and we're drawing the hips further back towards the heels. Take a full breath in, finding that passive stretch underneath the arms and the back. And then on your exhale, come on up nice and slowly, no need to rush, into your tabletop position. Getting those wrists right underneath the shoulders, hips on those knees. We're going to start to move in this very sort of freestyle, loosey-goosey way. So if it feels weird, you're probably doing it right. We want to circle the head, the spine, close the eyes, let it feel like a little interpretive dance. Good, maybe hearing a little hip hop here and there. We're gonna start to come back to that neutral flat back. From here, we'll take our first cow pose. So you'll drop the belly, take an inhale, draw a line up with the nose. On your exhale, curl, reverse it to your cat. Inhale into your cat. Exhale to your cat. One more time on your own. Lovely. Taking your flat neutral tabletop. Inhale your right arm out and up towards the sky. Open up the chest. On your exhale, thread the needle right underneath the left, right side of the head down. You can keep that left palm where it is. Maybe it crawls up to the top of the mat, or maybe it lifts up behind you and wraps behind the low back. Any option is a great option, whatever feels best. Stay here for a round of breath. And we bring that left palm back by the face if it's not already. Push to come back to your tabletop. We take it on the other side. Left arm out and up. And on your exhale, thread it through whatever variation feels best in your body with that right hand. Go for it. Stay for a round of breath. And right palm back by your face to come back up. Lovely. We'll take an extended puppy pose. So toes are tucked, hips are right on top of those knees. We want to keep this nice right angle. Start to walk your hands forward and then placing the forehead or chin, if we're feeling particularly spicy, down. Now you can also take the same thing with a block here if we are just working on that flexibility in the spine. So a block either under the forehead or the chin. We want to keep the shoulders away from the ears. This is a really great pose for chest opening, shoulder opening, focusing on wide breaths in the rib cage. Breathe in and breathe out. One more. Amazing. We're going to start to come onto our forearms, and then we're just gonna move our blocks out of the way and inch ourselves forward like a little baby inchworm. Good. We come on down into Sphinx pose. So we want to make sure that we're not sinking our shoulders by our ears or by our face. Push away from the floor. Claw through the fingertips, and then as if you can pull your heart forward in between your upper arm bones, we start to bring it forward. And then take some big belly breaths here. It'll deepen your stretch. Good. Elongate the back of the neck. If we're feeling fancy, maybe we start to push into the palms to lengthen out the arms. Maybe just looking up to where the wall and ceiling meet. Good. We'll start to slide everything down, forehead to the mat, palms by your chest. We'll come into our first baby cobra. On your next inhale, heart lifts up off the mat just with the strength of your back. Inhale. Exhale, come on down. Beautiful. We start to push through our tabletop. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Take these first few moments here to move in this pose, walking, as they say, walk the dog, pedal out the feet, moving in a way that feels really, really good. Good, and let's firm up the shape a little bit. So make sure that those feet are hip width apart. Soften the knees. It is always better to soften the knees than to have them stick straight. So with the knees soft, and then you're looking at the palms, making sure they're shoulder width apart, we want to start to push the mat down and away from us so the heart melts towards the tops of the thighs. Finding that nice diagonal here. Hips way up to the sky, full breath in, full breath out. Lovely. From here, heels up high, soften the knees, look towards the hands, take little tiny little baby steps, walking your way up to your forward fold. Good, right at the top of your mat. Blocks can come under the hands for a little bit more support. We're gonna make sure those feet are hip width apart, soften the knees, and let that head go. We spend so much time with our necks in like really awkward positions, looking at our phone or a computer or any kind of screen, keeping it sort of rigid. So if we can just find a way to loosen it up, sway side to side, soften in the face. From here, we'll come into a half lift, hands on shins or thighs. We're embodying a capital letter L. Can we reach the crown of the head way, way far so the weight shifts into the balls of the feet? Take an inhale, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, just fall down. Good. From here, soften the knees like a loose piece of clothing on a hanger. We're going to keep the shoulders soft. Neck, head soft, we roll ourselves up to stand. Stacking one vertebra on top of the other. Try not to fix your clothes or your hair or whatever the case may be. Let yourself just exist in space. Good. Notice if there's any difference from when we first started. Good, you can open your eyes, you can pull up your pants or whatever it is you need to do. We're gonna stand in our mountain pose, our Tadasana, feet hip width apart, roll the shoulders up and back. Place one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Maybe bringing that intention back to mind. As you breathe, can that hand on the belly move outward? Then maybe following the hand with the chest. Good. Open up the eyes if they're not already. You're going to take your hands, place them on your low back. Elbows kind of move towards each other. Just start to push your hips forward first. We can keep the gaze where it is because this in and of itself is a back bend. If we're looking for more, we want to keep the eyes open and then start to look up towards where the wall and ceiling meet. This can be totally fine and we can stay right here. If we choose to bring that head back again, make sure that we can still breathe. Eyes are open. We're here for an inhale. Exhale, come on. Good, circle out the wrists. We'll take a little sun salutation. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, dive it all the way down. Make sure that you bend your knees when you're coming down. We want to make sure that that back stays good and healthy. From here, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold, plant the palms. Step both feet back to your plank. Pause here. Can we find that alignment of shoulders on those wrists and then head and heels in as long of a line as possible? Good. Push away from the floor, separate the shoulder blades, breathe in. And on your exhale, tap the knees down, bend the elbows, lower all the way down. Next inhale is your baby cobra, lift up. Exhale, forehead down. Good. You're either going to push back into your tabletop for your downward dog or bend the knees. We come up into a modified plank. Make your choice. 3, 2, 1. Come on up. And then downward dog, we meet. From here, right leg lifts all the way up and back. Open up the hip and bend the knee. Create some space in between the hips, the legs. Find that stretch in the hamstring. Straighten out the leg, breathe in. And on your exhale, sweep that leg all the way up front. You can use your arm if necessary to hike it up there for your low lunge. Good, we're gonna gently bring that back knee down, and blocks under your hands here is really, really great to find a little bit of an extra lift in the chest. Sending those hips downward, forward. Good. We can move the blocks out of the way, and we're going to reach the arms up. You can do a few things here to make this a little bit more accessible. Maybe pressing the top of that back foot down and then lifting up ever so slightly so we're not just like hanging down into our hips here. We want to use a little bit of our muscle, our foundation. Good. Inhale, reach it all the way up towards the sky. And on your exhale, cactus the elbows, squeeze shoulder blades together. Good. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale down. You're going to tuck your toes or your back toes, lift your back knee, and then bring that back heel down. Rise up for your warrior 1. Bringing that right hip slightly back, left hip slightly forward, and press that outer edge of that back foot down into the mat. Good, can you stay here for a round of breath? How does it feel to be in this pose, in this moment, with this breath? From here, we are going to take a big hug. We're going to take your bottom arm underneath your right arm, underneath your left arm, which then becomes your bottom arm. We're going to start to crawl those fingertips to the shoulder blades and then draw elbows and shoulders down. Inhale, gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, lean forward about 45 degrees. Good. Can you continue to draw shoulders and elbows down, feeling that opening in the chest or in the back of the chest? Inhale. Exhale, start to open up the arms back to warrior 1, and then we open up to warrior 2. Knee and front toes are facing completely front. Check to make sure that back arm is behind you. Flip the front palm, reach it up and back. Reverse warrior. Good, and then we start to windmill the arms all the way down, back into your low plunge. Reach the right arm out and up for your twist. Breathe in. And breathe out, right hand comes down. Step it back to your plank. Tap your knees down, and then bend your elbows halfway, just halfway. Good, flip to the tops of the feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take all of that on the other side. Left leg will lift up, open up the hip, bend the knee. Take a moment here. Good, extend that leg long, big belly breath in. And exhale to your low lunge. We'll gently bring that back knee down. We want to make sure that that front foot is grounded. Sometimes we have a tendency to come into our lunge like this. We want that knee on that ankle, stacking those joints. And then when you're ready, reach those arms up. Open up in the chest. Feel a sense of light emanating out of you. Good, inhale, reach up. As you exhale, cactus the elbows, squeeze shoulder blades together. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, hands come down. Good, back toe is tucked. We lift the back knee and then back heel comes down. Rise up to your warrior 1. So we want to check in on this side, right? Sometimes when we get into the second side, we sometimes tap out a little bit. But give the other side the love, the love and attention that it needs, especially if it's our less dominant side. So can we bring that left hip back? Outer edge of that foot presses down. Want to find lots of length in that back knee. Then relax the shoulders. Good. From here, take a big hug. Left arm now underneath the right. Big, big hug. On your next inhale, we lift up ever so slightly. And on your exhale, leaning forward 45 degrees. Good. Lots of heat building in that front thigh. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Back to warrior 1. Reach it up. And then exhale to your warrior 2. Good. If the bottom ribs are kind of poking out, can we knit them in together? Shoulders right on top of those hips. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reach it up and back for your reverse warrior. And then exhale, windmill the arms all the way down. Step it back to your plank. Maybe keeping those knees lifted this time. Bending the elbows halfway for your chaturanga. We start to flip to the tops of the feet, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. So nice. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, low lunge. We're gonna bring our back heel down, left arm up first, then your right for your warrior 2. Good. Straighten out the front leg. Reach long to the front of the mat, and then tilt down for your triangle pose. We want length on both sides of the body here, not just like crunching down on that right side. Stack shoulder on top of shoulder. We want to stay nice and flat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Can that top arm wrap behind your back, just as we did in that thread the needle. As you come on up, you're going to take your right arm. We're coming into a reverse triangle, reaching the arms as far away from each other as possible. And then coming up, and then bending both elbows to try to get your fingers touching each other or somewhere close. Maybe it's just your shirt. A strap or belt can also be helpful. But notice as I'm trying to get my fingers here, my back starts to arch. Let's take that out. Good, let the shoulders come down. So nice, you guys. Take a breath in. And exhale out. Release the arms. Shake them out. Hands can come onto your hips. Turn your right toes to the left. So we're all facing the long left side of your mat. You're gonna take your arms. This time again, right arm underneath the left. We can stay here or come into your eagle wrap, bringing those forearms together, maybe the palms. We draw shoulders, elbows down. Take an inhale, gazing slightly up to the sky. And as you exhale, we fold it all the way down. Good. Stay here for a round of breath. Slowly release the arms. We're going to turn right toes back to the right, back to the front of our mat for our low lunge. Sweep your right leg back to your plank, taking your vinyasa, whichever version felt best to you. You're always welcome to skip it and just go back to downward dog as well. I will say that in every class I teach. If it's a vinyasa class, you still don't have to take a vinyasa. From here, left leg up and back. Sweep it forward, low lunge. Back heel down. The right arm comes up first, then the left. We lengthen out that front leg, reach long to the front of the mat, and then tilt down for triangle. Now for triangle, we're also able to take a block here. Feel free to take that block on the highest setting and just bring it underneath the shoulder. It just adds a little bit more support here so we can focus on finding length instead of kind of holding ourselves in midair. Good, top arm now wraps behind your low back. Take an inhale. As you exhale, we come on up and back to your reverse triangle, but reaching those arms away from each other. Good, a breath here. And then come on up, bending both elbows. This side is not really what we're decide, but hey, we're not judging here, right? Judgment-free zone. If we cannot reach, like I said, we grab our shirt, maybe a strap, no big deal. Try to take any arch out of your back. A breath in. And a breath out. Slowly start to release the arms. Good, I'm gonna do a little switcheroo here. So we're gonna turn those left toes to the right. Now we're facing the long right side of our mat. You're going to clasp your hands behind your back, lengthen out the arms, open up the chest. And then on your next exhale, we fold it forward, sending those arms up, possibly overhead. If it feels better to soften the knees here, do it. So nice. Slowly we'll take those hands, bring them towards the low back, and then release. You're going to push away from the floor. Hands are either on the mat or on a block. And you're going to bring your right hand underneath your nose. Bring your left hand to your low back. Find that push to bring shoulder away from ear. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, keeping the hips level, we open up to the left. If hips are level and we want to lift that left arm, go for it. Maybe if it feels okay in the neck, we look up towards the sky or the hand. Breathe in. Exhale, come on back down. Great job. We have one more side. Right hand to your hip. Left arm pushes away from the mat. Breathe in. And as you exhale, we open up to the right. Maybe that right arm lifts, not mandatory. Inhale. Exhale, right hand down. Good. Start to turn left toes to the left. We crawl back to the low lunge. Plant the palms, sweep that left leg back to your plank, move the blocks out of the way, and then either keeping those knees lifted or tap them down. We lower all the way down to the mat, nice and slow. Ready? Elbows by the sides. Down for 3, down for 2, and 1. All right. We're coming into a little locust pose here, so please clasp your hands behind your back and squeeze everything in towards the midline of the body. Yeah, so like imagine everything can just kind of squeeze inward right into the center. Take a breath in. As you exhale, we lift upper body, lower body, arms, everything lifts up off the mat. Try to keep those legs as long as possible and make sure that we're not jutting the chin forward. We want to keep the back of the neck nice and long here. Shoulders away from the ears. Yep, we're still here. She's still talking. Take an inhale. Stay for the exhale. If you want a little bit more spice, we can start to let go of the arms and frame the ears. We're here for 5, 4, you got it for 3, 2, and bring everything down. Whew, nice job. So we're gonna take a little flipperoo onto the back. And please grab your blocks. We will definitely use them. So you will take your first one. We're coming into one of my favorite poses, a supported fish. You're going to take your first block, bring it just underneath your shoulder blades, and then we lie back down with the heart lifted. Now this might be all you need. If the head is laying back and has made contact with the floor, the arms are out, palms up, and we're feeling comfy, feeling like we can breathe, fabulous. If we want a little bit less of this extension in the spine, we can take our second block and place it underneath our head, either on the lower setting or the medium setting. And then, once we find it, there it is, and then we can just lay back. So we want this to feel really comfortable. We want this to feel like the heart is literally just bursting open like a flower. Can we rest the body entirely? Hips, legs, arms, the back of the head. We want it all to be just relaxed. We'll be here for somewhere around 5 to 7 rounds of breath. Try to keep thoughts on the back burner. Stay here. Wherever you are in your breath, empty out your lungs completely. Exhale everything. Pause at the bottom. Draw in a smooth, deep, full belly breath in. Exhale, sigh. So nice. We're going to first move the block from the head if it's there. And then we inch onto our forearms, slide the block out, and then lie completely back down. Bring knees into your chest. Start to turn over to one side. Let your head rest on your arm for a moment. Giving yourself a sincere thank you for taking time out of your day for your heart, for your well-being, for your breath. Try to keep your eyes closed. It doesn't matter which way you face as you push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Spine is tall but relaxed. Maybe placing one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly once more. Holding yourself, honoring yourself in your practice. We'll take one more breath together before we close. Bring that intention right back. Exhale. Full belly breath in. And exhale, let it all go. My friends, my loves, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you feel a little bit more open, letting a little bit more love in. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.